Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here for the Mountain Weather Information Service. This is your planning outlook updated on Tuesday evening, the 28th of January. Lots of exciting things going on in the MWIS world at the moment. A shiny new website for you to check out and enjoy. And right on cue, the weather has turned a bit more wintry as well. Bit of freeze and thaw though as temperatures lift over the next day or so, but Scottish mountains, the Munros in particular, staying generally below freezing, with a generally unsettled theme prevailing. Some rain, some wind, gales, upland snow in the forecast again, I suspect, over several days ahead, and even next week looks as though chillier northwesterly patterns will prevail. We'll start off with a look at temperatures, and this is the 850 millibar level that corresponds pretty nicely at the moment to the highest tops in Scotland. We're sub-zero then as we start Wednesday, but a bit of a warm sector that comes in from the Atlantic, producing a lift of freezing level through the day, and that generally less cold air just tries to move in then over the next day or so. Still sub-zero on the higher Scottish tops. This is through into Thursday. Milder air sweeps in for a time through across England and Wales in particular through the end of this week. Very mild conditions across central and southern parts of the British Isles, and generally may well lift above freezing to many higher tops for a time at least toward the weekend. Notice though chillier air coming back in, a cold front going through as we go into Saturday. Still some ups and downs as I run the sequence on basically through into Sunday, and early next week I suspect just sees a more general drop of freezing level as northwesterly winds set up and temperatures drop again from the north. Overall though, the week may still just go back and forth as temperatures rise and fall. It's all going to depend exactly where high pressure eventually centres itself during next week. We'll come to that in a moment. This is the chart for Wednesday. There's the warm front we mentioned coming in. Heavy snowfall coming into the western Scottish mountains, turning sleety and more to rain on lower slopes as that milder air gets in. It's a blustery day overall. Close to proximity of the isobars on this chart give that one away. Less rainfall across England and Wales, a few showers early on with some snow and some hail in them, and then bits of drizzle coming in with low cloud across Irish Sea coastal hills through Wednesday afternoon. Thursday still sees fronts toward the north and still frequent precipitation across the western mountains. The snow level just lifted maybe compared to what we've seen in recent days, but may just tend to drop as that colder air tucks in as the cold front moves in. Windy again, risk of gales across many of the mountains, a possible lull in the far north for a time, less in the way of rain further south but some low cloud covering many western hills of England and Wales. Further fronts on the scene into Friday. Chillier air behind the cold front passing eastwards. That will give some snow and some rain persistent for a time. Following that will be areas of showers. Still a blustery day once again across many of the hills. Not exactly sure of the exact shape of the low that's out to the west. It might be that it's a slightly more active chart even than this suggests. So keep an eye on your forecast for Friday. It's westerlies that dominate, and this is the situation into Saturday. Still risk of gales across many of the mountains, and belts of rain and snow across the mountains pretty extensively, with that freezing level just having dropped a bit again by this time. Concentrated toward the west and north of Scotland. A few showers coming in elsewhere on that strong wind. Things moving fairly quickly through the weekend. Timing, absolute detail is going to be awkward for now, but another frontal system sweeps through, most likely on Saturday night. That could have gone eastwards, but leaves a legacy of showers. It's windy again, it's the risk of gales, so it's going to be a rather turbulent time on the mountains, and a cold one again, with those temperatures just having come down once that next cold front goes through. So it's a sequence of weather systems that keep coming in off the Atlantic, and that I think will be the story even at the start of next week, but subtle changes on the way as things turn a bit more northwesterly and pressure begins to build out towards the west of us. So a change of wind direction I would have thought for a day or so, northwest, even direct northerly maybe for a few days. That will bring freezing levels down and showers in from the north. The northern Scotland prone to those, but a few bands coming into hills nearest the Irish Sea, into Snowdonia, and a few clipping down into the Cheviot as well if the wind turns straight northerly. The high then wants to build in, and this looks a consistent picture on many of the models for next week. That high pressure to the west will build at least for a time, so it may just give a window of quieter, settled weather with chilly air in place, some frost across many of the valleys and the glens, and terrain on the mountains frozen for a few days at least. Further ahead than that, later part of next week, well, it looks as though that high wants to collapse away southwards again, and it's back to a west or a southwesterly, which once again would bring milder air and a lift of freezing levels. We'll watch the detail with that. Sometimes these highs building, not always easy to pin down where they'll go next, but that seems to be a sequence for next week. A window of opportunity is possible. We'll update the video for you later on this week. Check out all your local details then for the next 3 days ahead every day on our website, and follow us on all the social media feeds as well. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.